It's that time again. Enough time has passed and enough has changed that today we're going to cover EDC. Hey guys, Work here, welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to cover the yearly thing that everybody on gun channels covers, although for me it's been like a year and a half. We are going to cover EDC. That's right, I'm going to go through all of the different things that I carry every day and why I do it. So, first of all, I apologize for kind of the shady lighting here, but we are getting ready to do multiple different things. You're going to be seeing me here, you're going to be seeing me on the bench, and I'm trying to get some crispier audio here. I've got my good microphone up. We'll see if it works. I don't know, it's kind of far from my face. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what some of my EDC is, and then we'll kind of go in depth to it down on the bench, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the first thing that everybody probably always wonders for a gun guy is, what is your gun EDC? So let's go ahead and get that out of the way right off the bat. First up, my normal everyday carry is a CZ P10C in a holster co-holster. I carry this appendix. I just swapped to appendix about 3 months ago or so. It's still not overly comfortable. It's never going to be super comfortable, but I'm used to it now. I know what to do to make it not super uncomfortable so that it's 100% reliable. It is significantly more concealable in the appendix position than it normally is. I used to carry at 3 o'clock, between 3 and 4 o'clock, just depending on kind of where belt buckles and loops fell. But carrying it appendix, I like it a lot more. Now, let's go ahead and bounce down to the bench, and I'll show you a little bit more specifics about my P10C here. As you see, this is my CZ P10C in my holster co-holster. I really like the holster co-holster. It has held up really well. The only downside is it is not an optics ready model, so I will need to be able to update that when that time comes. I'll have to get a new holster because this thing is getting an optic on it within the next 6 months or so. Now, the gun itself is loaded currently, so I'm going to be pretty careful with it. This gun does have XS f8 sights. I'm really happy with these sights as far as sight picture goes. I am not happy with them as far as wear goes. As you can see here, I am getting a little bit of rust on those. The sight picture is still great. The tritium is still nice and bright, but I don't really like the rust. This coating needs to be a little bit more durable. Down here, I am running a Suarez trigger. It's the face shooter trigger, and that is the trigger only. It does not replace any of the other components. I've actually got a couple of them here as well. As for ammo, I am running Spear Gold Dot 147 grains. I run this in all of my firearms just to keep a commonality among my 9mm defensive rounds. And everything else on my P10C here is stock. So alternately from my PA10C, I also have this holster Praetorian, I believe it is. I am testing this thing right now. So far I really like it. I like this side by side. I do carry an appendix. Obviously you can't really carry these any other way. But I'm really liking this so far. But most of the time I just carry it in my little single one, and I don't carry a spare mag. Call me unprepared if you will, but that's just how I run. I don't, you know, this is slightly more inconvenience. So now I do run this all the time when I run my P10SC, which is the full-size slide on the compact frame. Really like that setup, and it gives me a dot because I have a P10F optics ready. So another bonus, and this guy has an open muzzle end, so you can actually run the P10SC, that longer slide, in this holster without running into issue. The other one is a closed barrel, so you can't do that. Alright guys, so that's my EDC gun that I carry every day. Now, I want to show you guys a couple of my alternate EDC guns, just so you kind of get an idea of you know, what else I carry, because gun guys, especially YouTubers who like are testing stuff, don't always carry the same guns. So let's hit the bench again and go over some of my alternates. First alternate is going to be my CZ P01. Again, we're running in a holster co-holster. This one is running the Olight PL Mini Valkyrie. This is the first gen PL Mini, the one that looks good and doesn't look like a block hanging on the bottom of your rail. I really like this light. So far, it has held up really well. It's had a 750-ish rounds shot through this gun with that light on it, and it's not caused any problems. It's still running consistently. The brightness is still there. It very rarely needs charged, and I just really like this light. Now, going on from there, there's a lot done to this particular firearm. All right, first up, sights. Let's start from top to the bottom. Sights. Run an SP01 tactical front sight with a CZ custom single dot rear. I really like this eye dot, or this figure 8 style sight picture now. Somebody asked why I didn't run the other rear sight here that comes out and then cuts down a little bit. It's a little less snaggy for concealed carry. However, I really like a nice long straight shelf up here. Makes it a little bit easier to verify your equal height on an equal height, equal light sight picture, which is the correct sight picture. Going down from there, it is running a CZ custom hammer along with CZ custom internals for the trigger. If you guys look back, I did have a video comparing CZ custom internals to Cajun Gunworks internals. This one is running the CZ custom internals, and I love it. Now that all of the stuff has been ironed out, we did have some issues with it initially, but now it's running really well. And then down here, I do have Cool Hands Ops grips. These are the tan and black, I think. I really like these grips. They're very akin to the lock grips, but they're significantly less money. These things come in, I think, usually around like 50 or 60 bucks. With mounting screws. So if you're ever looking at these and you're wondering which grips I've got on my PO1 or my SPO1, they're Cool Hand grips, and I'll get a link in the description for all of the stuff that I can have a link for, like the weapons light and the grips. I'll have links for all this stuff down below in the description. So another alternate gun that I have is my Sig P365. Now my P365's got about 1,200 rounds through it at this point. And I really, really like this gun. I have not had any issues with it. None of the stuff that Mac had seen has happened to it. I just really like this gun. For its size, it is an exceptional shooter. It shoots extremely accurately. The sights are adequate. They're really good for stock sights. Really good. And as far as aftermarket sights would go, they're actually pretty good aftermarket sights too. So I don't have any plans on upgrading these sights. I like the green front. I like the blacked out rear. The 3-dot tritium, although I like the figure 8 dot over dot better, this is perfectly adequate. Recoil is manageable, and I only run the 10-round magazines in this, and I'll tell you why. If I'm going to run a little bit bigger magazine, I'm going to grab a little bit bigger of a gun, because even though this gun is accurate and shoots well, a bigger gun is always a bonus or a hand up in a confrontation. So carry the biggest gun you can. If you're interested in one of these holsters, I'll give you a link in the description down below to Holsterco, and you can use the code WorkTheTrigger for 10% off. So now that firearms are out of the way, let's go ahead and go to the base support system that holds up that firearm. And that would be the gun belt. The gun belts that I wear are from Daltech Force. They are the Super BIOS belt. Daltech Force is a Hoosier company. They're made here in Indiana, up north of Fort Wayne, I believe. And I freaking love these belts, and everybody who has gotten one of these belts at my suggestion has loved these belts. I have never seen a bad word about these things. They are stiff without being insanely uncomfortably stiff. However, these hold up a compact gun, which is way more than like the P365 or something. This thing holds it up without giving every time. I've had these belts for 2 years now, at least, I think, and they have not deformed at all. If you guys know anything about like leather belts, or even the Core Essentials belt that I had the last time, I'd worn it for like a month and a half, and it had already started warping. 2 years in, no warpage. Daltech Force Super BIOS belts are awesome. I will give you a link in the description down below, as well as a coupon code down below. I believe it's GET5 for 5% off. Go ahead and use that in the coupon code down below, and you can get 5% off. So, going from that, now that we've got our base, we've got our firearm set up, now I can go to pockets. So, right front pocket for me is the kind of keys and essentials pocket. So, first up, I've got my keys, and I have them in a lanyard here. That lanyard is tied to a clip here. So you can see here what I do is I just grab that, and this sits on my belt. I toss that on there. It keeps the lanyard up and out of my pocket for quick access of my keys. However, the main mass of my keys can fall down into the bottom of my pocket, and I don't have to worry about reaching for them and digging for them. So that's my keys. So next up, let's go ahead and reach down in that same pocket for nothing else. That's right, that pocket doesn't have a whole lot else in it, because that is also my change pocket, and I hate loose change mixed in with other items. So that particular pocket is keys and change. The pocket watch pocket up above that is going to end up being kind of my utility pocket. So that's where I keep my flashlight and my multi-tool. Let's hit the bench and go over these. First up, my flashlight is an S1 Baton Mini from Olight. No matter what you guys say about Olight and their weapons mounted lights and some of the issues that they have, their pocket lights are freaking fantastic. You cannot find a better deal on a pocket light, and these pocket lights last just as long as the mainstream pocket lights, the ones that cost 3 and 4 times as much. And you get more light output, plus this particular one came with a rechargeable CR123 battery, which is awesome. It puts out a massive amount of light, I believe up to like 800 lumens, and it's got 3 different light levels, so you can set it at like a working light at 50 lumens, up to like 300 lumens, and then the full, I think it's maybe 600 lumens for this one. But you've got 3 different levels that you can set this thing at, and I absolutely love this light. It's never let me down, and on top of that, it also has a magnet on the back, so when you're working on something, you can snap it to the back, and you can have it stuck there pointing at your workspace. Next up, my multi-tool. This is a Leatherman Rev. It is a smaller sized Leatherman, which I really like because it does fit in that pocket watch pocket. It's a very simple Leatherman. It's got pliers. We've got multiple different things over here. We've got kind of a little cutter. We've got a screwdriver and a measuring device, a can opener. On this side, we've got 2 more screwdrivers, a flat and a Phillips. And then if I fold it back like this, on the outside, I have the knife. The knife is relatively sharp. It is stainless steel, but it has rusted a little bit in my pocket. Gets a lot of sweat. That's all right. So I did forget one thing down in that pocket that I keep my keys and my change in. And that it's a thing that's kept up and out of the pocket, so I don't really, didn't grab it when I reached down there, and that is my knife. Now, currently I am carrying and testing this ABKT knife. ABKT is a smaller knife company, but man, guys, I really like these knives. Let's hit the bench and go over it a little bit more. So this is my standard, just what I carry pocket knife. This is my ABKT knife. I don't remember the name. I'll put a link in the description down below for it. But it does, it's an aluminum frame, G10 grips. It's got a really nice tonneau cut blade, and a couple of the things that I really like about the ABKT knives. First of all, their blades hold an edge really well. Secondly, their pocket clips are nicely made. They're not super flimsy, so if you pull them like that, they're not going to get stuck out. And third is their opening. These are not a spring assist pocket knife. They are just extremely, extremely smooth opening pocket knives. Now that being said about this one, this is actually my favorite ABKT knife. This is the Phantom Spectre 2. I have not been able to find this on the market for a while, but this is the sweetest opening $30 ball bearing knife that you guys will ever find. If you find an ABKT ball bearing knife, get it. I absolutely love this knife. The only problem is I had a set screw back out and it pulled out enough of the threads that I can't get a new one in without rethreading. So I'm in the process of rethreading this one, but for now, I'm carrying this one. All right, guys, so continuing my way around, this side is empty now. Continuing around is my wallet. My wallet is just an Alpine Swiss wallet. I'm not going to open it up for obvious reasons, but I love this wallet. It's got a flap on the inside which allows for an identification slot that is easily accessible while opening up the wallet. However, you also get all of the credit card slots back behind it, so you can keep whatever you want back there. A little bit of spare change, phone numbers, whatever it may be. But I really like, this is actually my second one of this exact wallet. The first one was black, the second one is brown, and I love this wallet. So from there, going around back, my other back pocket is kept empty. If I carry a spare magazine, that's typically where I carry it. Now, the only time that I really carry a spare mag, unfortunately right now, because the Neo mags are freaking expensive, is for my LCP, and the only time that I carry, I just toss them in my back pocket. The LCP mags are so thin that you don't really need to do anything else for them. They're easily accessible, they sit flat when you sit down, they don't really cause any damage, they don't fall out. So that's what's there. Now my front left pocket is kept clear of everything else except for my phone. That is a Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. I really like the plus sizes. It's kind of like an in-between like the note size phablet phone sizes and then like the smaller phones. Plenty of space to work on, plenty of the abilities to be able to do stuff with. The S9 particularly has this dual camera system that is really nice for, you know, if you're doing it for the gram. But it's inside a magpul case. To me, the magpul case is like one of the best cases that you can get. I freaking love this case. Everything about it is just fantastic. The only thing that, I take that back, I guess the only thing that wasn't fantastic is the texturing made it so my pop socket didn't like sitting there. Now, this is a pop socket. Yes, I have a pop socket, just like a 15-year-old girl. Yes, I love my pop socket, just like a 15-year-old girl. The reason I love my pop socket is because it allows me to do this. I can watch my phone, I can not drop it, it's awesome. I love these things. And then they fold up relatively flat. You're not going to feel that, because here's a tip. Always carry your phone case side out. Put the screen up against your leg. Your leg is soft. Things that are out are not soft. So if you do that, you won't crack your screen. Anyway, though, the other thing I like about the pop socket is with a very simple, very cheap mount, you can just pop it in your car. You don't have to worry about like one of those spring-loady mount things in there. I hate those. Beyond that, the only other thing that I really have on me day to day is my watch. Again, let's go to the bench and I'll show you a little bit. My watch is a Samsung Galaxy Gear S2. Yes, that's right, it's the old one. And why the old one? I don't really use it as much as I need to for like getting one of the newer ones, but it does what I need it to do. It gives me notifications of phone calls, text messages, any notifications from like you guys on YouTube. I can see all of those really quick. I don't miss those things. It also gives me pretty quick access to weather alerts and things like that, as well as tracking health things, steps, heart rate, stuff like that. That's pretty much all I use it for, in addition to the time. If you don't want to wear a smartwatch, I would suggest wearing an actual watch. Watches they're an outdated thing, but they really aren't as outdated and useless as everybody thinks they are. Watches are extremely useful. If you can, get a watch with at least some type of analog time system. The reason is, if something ever happened, it's much easier to catch a time at a glance on an analog system than it is a digital system, or at least to be able to tell passing time. For instance, if you end up having to give someone CPR and you need to let the paramedics know how long they've been receiving CPR, 2 quick glances at your watch to tell where the minute hand was and where it is will give you that passage of time. However, with a digital watch, you have to remember the exact numbers. Approximates aren't as easy with digital. Therefore, I always promote going with some type of an analog system. So that's it for this time, guys. That is my EDC. Yes, I've got some more EDC that I have like in my bag and such. I've got a med kit that I carry in my backpack that I've got with me every day. I've got a med kit in my car that I've got with me. But those aren't on my body at all times. These things that we just covered all the time are on my body. So, for me, that's what I count as my EDC. Hey guys, I wanted to thank you for watching today. As you guys may have well heard, YouTube is kicking gun channels in the rear. So, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and throw a comment down below. If you feel so inclined, go over to my Patreon page and sign up to be one of our Patreons. Pretty soon, once we hit 5,000 subs, we're going to start doing some giveaways over there, so keep an eye out on that. Remember guys, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.